If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, make sure to check it out first. What I saw left me completely stunned. I looked at Palash in shock, but he calmly said, "There's nothing to be afraid of. They move around unseen. They don't need vehicles." As we continued driving, the woman had completely disappeared. A few minutes later, the ambulance suddenly stalled. Palash frowned. "What's wrong with the vehicle now?" He grabbed his phone, turned on the flashlight, and inspected the engine. "Everything looks fine, and there aren't even any houses around here." Then I noticed something in the distance. "Palash, look over there. There's a light." He stared for a moment. "You're right." When we finally reached the source of the light, we were stunned. It looked like a fairground in the middle of nowhere. But something felt wrong. The people there were unusually tall. As we moved closer, we saw a group gathered around something lying on the ground. Curious, we approached. My heart nearly stopped. A corpse was lying there. Its face was covered. Palash stared silently as one of the tall figures slowly pulled away the cloth. His eyes widened. "That's impossible." He pointed at the body. "That's the same corpse we're transporting. How did it get here?" Suddenly, he looked around in panic. "Nishad, run!" Without another word, he started running. I followed immediately. The moment we turned around, everything changed. The fairground vanished. The tall people transformed into terrifying black dogs. Growling viciously, they charged after us. We sprinted toward the ambulance in complete terror. Finally, we jumped inside and slammed the doors shut. The black creatures surrounded the vehicle, circling endlessly. I was shaking uncontrollably. Palash, breathing heavily, said, "Don't panic. They can't harm us now." Then he frowned. "But what do we do? They took the corpse." I immediately looked into the rear compartment. "Palash, the body is still here." He turned around in disbelief. "What?" The corpse was exactly where we had left it. Then, what had we just seen? "You sure it was the same body?" I asked. "Absolutely," he replied. "I loaded it myself before you arrived. I saw the face clearly." After a pause, he whispered, "I think these are demonic jinn. They're creating illusions to lure us into a trap." Thankfully, we hadn't fallen for it. Palash tried the ignition again. This time, the ambulance started instantly. Moments earlier, the vehicle wouldn't start no matter what we did. Not wanting to stay there any longer, we drove away as fast as possible. Behind us, dozens of black dogs chased the ambulance. Eventually, they disappeared into the darkness. Relieved, we continued down the road. Then, we witnessed something even more horrifying. A body, wrapped in a white burial shroud, lay directly in the middle of the road. It didn't look human. It looked like another trap. Without hesitation, Palash accelerated and drove straight through it. There was no impact, no bump, nothing. A little farther ahead, another shrouded corpse appeared, then another, and another. Each time, we drove right through them. It was as if they weren't real. After passing several of them, the road finally became clear. We thought the nightmare was finally over. But we were wrong. As we relaxed and started talking, a loud, explosive sound suddenly echoed through the night. The front tire had blown out. We stopped the ambulance and sat silently for several minutes. Neither of us wanted to get out. Who knew what was waiting outside? But nothing happened. Finally, Palash gathered his courage. "Come on, Nishad. I think we're okay." We stepped out and began changing the tire. As we worked, a strange smell drifted through the air. Then we heard a faint sound. Something wasn't right. A cold feeling ran through my body. I slowly walked toward the rear of the ambulance. My blood ran cold. The rear lock was gone, and the door was open. I immediately called Palash over. Together, we looked inside. What we saw froze us in place. A terrifying creature was crouched inside the ambulance. Its entire body was covered in thick fur. Its face looked completely inhuman, monstrous. Its eyes glowed from the darkness as it stared directly at us. For a moment, neither of us could move. I was about to scream when Palash instantly covered my mouth with his hand. Without making a sound, he slowly pulled me away from the vehicle. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst from my chest. The creature remained inside the ambulance, silently watching us. Neither of us knew what it was. Neither of us knew what it wanted. But one thing was certain. The nightmare wasn't over yet. To be continued